Hey guys,
What's going on, everybody?
welcome to the Business Project Podcast. We have such an exciting show for you guys today.
Yes, we are interrupting our regularly scheduled broadcast to bring a very important episode to you. It's stuff that's going on right now in our economy, and we figured it's best to have a conversation around it.
Yeah, I feel like I should be doing that.
Right?
Breaking news.
Oh, what's that? You hear that when you listen to the radio every now and then? Like, beep, beep.
Yes, that's what this is. That's what this show is for you guys today.
Yes.
Yes, so we're going to go into the bumper and then we're going to get into it.
Let's go.
The Business Project Podcast.
Business can be complicated.
We break it down so regular people like us
can understand and find success. I'm John Crespo, accountant and consultant.
I'm Casey Bryant, marketer and event planner.
If you run a business
or want to run a business,
welcome to the show. And we're back.
We're back. All right. I'm very excited about today. I'm excited, but I'm not so excited because it's kind of a bummer, but I feel like it's how the business cycle goes, right?
Yes.
I think through our lifetime, there's good times and there's bad times. And so when the bad time comes, instead of whining and pouting and throwing a temper tantrum, we need to buckle up our bootstraps and figure out how to get through it and support each other. And so that's what we're all about today.
That's right. If you've been living in a cave or have had your head in the dirt, you probably have not seen that we are going through a recession. Well, some economists are saying we're not in a recession, but Main Street is feeling the effects of the economy right now. We have businesses closing every day, especially local to us. There's been some pretty big name businesses that have closed down that have been surprising. And a lot of businesses right now are kind of struggling to figure out, hey, what's going on right now? I'm a little nervous. What do I do? And, who can I speak to for help? So we decided let's have this show to go over what we can do, what businesses can do to overcome this time of uncertainty.
Yeah, there's a lot of businesses that I've been talking to in the past couple months, I guess, and they are they're like horrified. They're just kind of freezing because they're not sure what to spend money on. They're not going out and doing networking events. They're not ordering new products, and the holidays are coming. And so it's just like, it's trying to figure out this balance of how do we stay safe and prepare for a recession? How bad is the recession going to get? But also how do we keep running our business? And so we hope to give you guys some helpful tools and some things that you can walk away with today. And we would love your comments too. In the comments of wherever you're watching, go ahead and tell us, what are your tips for making it through a recession? What are some things that you've done that have been successful? And what do you recommend other people do throughout this time?
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be a community effort. Look, we're going to talk about different aspects of how a business can prepare themselves for a recession. And as a matter of fact, what we're going to talk about today can actually be incorporated throughout the lifespan of your business, because it's better to be prepared for what may happen than not, right? So these tips can actually are things that we can put into place now, today, and continue them down the road.
For sure.
Yeah.
Continue. If whatever you do during a recession, I feel like are good habits, even for later, for when we're out of the recession. So let's start off with some stats. And we researched a couple of different places, and Zippia.com is the one that we're going to give you the stats from. It matched up on a lot of other stats that we found online. So 25% of small businesses closed due to COVID-19 pandemic, 23%. That's almost 1/4 of businesses. 1 out of every 4 businesses closed.
Yeah. In
the past couple years.
To put that in perspective, we've had over 1 million small businesses in our nation. So put that into perspective. 24% of over 1 million businesses. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That is a lot. And then 20% of small businesses fail within their first year in general. And so these are stats. I don't know if this is specific with the pandemic or this was before the pandemic. I think it's pretty close to an average of what happens. But in the first year, 80% of businesses.
Yes.
In the fifth year, 55% of businesses. In the 10th year, 30% of the businesses. And then in the 15th year, 25% of the businesses fail.
Yeah.
That's a lot of failing.
That is.
Yeah.
And it's not just small business, but it's large corporations too. There's a lot of names of corporations that I used to go to as a child shopping, for instance. Like in my area, there was a Caldor, there's an Ames and stuff like that aren't around today. So this affects all business. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have Walmart or Kmart's, 2 Kmart's in our and those are gone. Sears, yeah, those are all gone. So yeah, that was a good point. I don't think that you are immune to the effects of, this time, no matter how big your business is.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into some reasons that are some things that we think that you can do in order to help make it through this recession. So what's our first one, John?
First and foremost, cash flow. Doing some cash flow planning or understanding our cash flow, where money's coming in and where money is going out. That's probably the biggest, let's just say the biggest downfall that a business can have, especially going into recession. If we're not controlling where our money goes, if we're not controlling how our money comes in, then you're not going to be prepared for a recession.
I think right now is a great time to look at your bank statements from the past 12 months and say, of everything that's coming out of my bank account, what of this is necessary? Because I think also we're in a world of subscriptions and it makes it really easy to spend money.
Oh, yeah.
But you also get stuck spending money on some things that you don't necessarily need. And so right now is a good time to go through your bank statements and figure out what exactly can we cut.
Yeah, and I like what you said is that this is the time to look at what you're spending on as far as a business that you don't really need. So there's a little clip here in our notes that I thought is pretty good. It says, before you can embark on growing your business, you need an exact picture of the bottom line. So understanding everything and then picking apart those expenses that you don't need and getting rid of those.
Yeah, the bottom line. That's the bottom line is exactly what you need in order to survive, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, so conduct some cash flow planning. So look at what's coming in, what's going out of your business. And I want to kind of take this moment to say that I think a lot of businesses think that when a recession comes in, you have to cut people. And that's like, you hear that all the time, like they're cutting people and they're letting people go. And I think that there's a lot of other ways of doing it besides just cutting people and letting them go. I think that, like we had talked about, going through your bank statements first and figure out exactly what things you're spending money on that you don't necessarily need to. Or instead of cutting people, unfortunately, I know this is bad, but taking some of the extra things that you're giving them away. But then you're able to keep everybody on and going during this time instead of having to let people go, especially if you have a great team that you absolutely love. So figuring out other ways besides letting people go.
Yeah, and that goes into communication. Communicate with your team. The struggles that the business is having, especially during a recession. Everybody knows what the economy is going through. So being able to communicate the state of your business with your team and, still get their buy-in on the vision of the business and not lose sight of where you want your business to be and make sure your team is on board there. So having that communication, because if you focus on trimming your staff, making that one of your first cuts, then when the economy turns and you don't have those right people in place to help support the turn in the economy, then you're just in a just as bad situation or worse.
Yeah, because it takes so much money to bring on a new employee, right? So you might have let go of a good employee, but then you also have to, when it turns, spend more money getting somebody back on and trained. And
definitely.
No fun. Yes. All right. So that's good. So our first tip is to conduct some cash flow planning.
Yes.
And the second tip is to nurture existing customer relationships.
Oh, that's huge. That is something they should always be doing, right? But it's, obviously going into this time of recession, you want to stay in communication with your clients and your customers. You want to create some type of CRM program where you have constant communication with them. Let them know that you're still servicing them, that you want to provide the best service to them, that you want to provide the best product so that you get them coming back. The goal is to generate that repeat business.
I love that point because the businesses or the people that you're serving are probably unsure about what's going on too. And communication is so important. It's important with your customers. It's important with your employees. It's important with your contractors. Everybody that you're involved in a business, communication is a key to success. And making sure that you're being a little, I wouldn't recommend saying, hey, we're going under. Right. Don't cause a fire with your customers, but be a little bit transparent and ask them for, what do you guys need during this time, and reach out. And it's a great time to give them also, a helping hand or almost a pat on the shoulder, like, hey, we're going to get through this together.
Right. The more you appreciate your customers and your clients, especially during tough times, the more they'll appreciate you when the times are good. So focus on your clients.
Yes. So good. Okay, so the first one was conduct some cash flow planning. Mm-hmm. Second one was nurture existing customer relationships. And so you wrote down some notes. Y'all, we just came up with doing this podcast yesterday. Yeah. So excuse us as we read through some notes. But we thought that this was so important to do with you, and we want to make sure that we touch on everything. So what are your notes for there?
Yeah, and we're going to have these notes in the show notes so that, you have access to it. You can look at it and utilize what works for you. But, to touch on it, again, this is a spur of the moment meeting, getting information out to you so that you have it, because we feel it's important right now. So some of the notes we have are, personalizing a dashboard or other element of experience for your clients. So making it feel special to them, particular to your client that you're trying to reach out to. Create something that they feel it's customized for them. Data and purchase history to make relevant recommendations. I think that's a very important tool to have in business in general. You want to know what your clients are buying. You want to know what they want, right? So that then you can customize your offerings to that need. You want to fill a particular need. So that's part of market analysis anyway.
I love that, because I think that during times like this, there are things that people are still buying, right? There's necessity things that they still need to have, clothes and, just food and those types of things. So how can you, during this time, and I think we're going to go into this more as a full tip, but pivot what you're offering to include some things that people still need.
Yeah, for sure. And then and very important is engaging your customers through their preferred channels. So that means finding out their best way to communicate with them. A lot of them do it via texting, and there's texting programs that are out there. Local Clarksville has an amazing one. You have email, you have phone calls. So find out how your particular clients like to be communicated with and use that to reach them.
That takes a lot of effort.
It does.
It is. That is being very intentional, but it is going to pay off. It's going to be totally worth it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you want your messages to get across, find out how they want to communicate.
All right. So develop new products or service is the third one, which I kind of touched on, is I gave it away, snuck ahead. But ask your customers what they want and then develop products and services around what they want and what they're needing right now.
Yeah, because a good note here is during a recession, during tough times, during economic uncertainty, the way people shop, what they look for changes. So keep your ear to the street, I like to say, as far as what is moving out there, and provide that.
That's such a good point. And I think that that's hard to do because you are a lot of times focused in your lane. You get so comfortable. Things are good. You're smooth sailing. You're making money. And then all of a sudden something like this happens and you're like, okay, now I got to figure out something else. And that doesn't only just create a new product or service, but you also have to think everything around that, systems around it, packaging around it, all the things that we've talked about in previous podcasts. But I think that businesses that evolve and that can stay flexible during these times and can watch their cash flow, not run out of money, and figure out how to best solve a problem and serve their customers are going to be the ones that make it through.
Definitely. Good stuff.
Ramp up your marketing efforts.
Oh, and you know what's funny is that during a recession or during COVID, this is like one of the costs that people cut. You don't want to cut your marketing efforts during a downtime. Think about this. A downtime means you have less traffic coming into your store, or you're providing, or less people are buying your service. It's a downtime, right? Why would you stop reaching out? Why would you stop an outreach program to generate more traffic? And that's what marketing is, right? It gives you that ability to build your awareness and generate more traffic. You want to double down on marketing right now. You want to make sure that you want to go networking events. You want to make sure your digital presence is good. You want to make sure your social media, you want to double down there.
This is what sparked this need for this podcast, actually, is because we were talking about how we're doing a networking event next week, and the ticket sales are just way down compared to what they normally are. And I think that that's a big reason why is people are not getting out. They're not wanting to spend money. They're kind of bunkering down, and it is very, very important. And you don't have to spend a lot of money in marketing too. There are ways to do it that don't cost a lot of money. And we have the 5 tips, 5 ways that you can reach more customers for $0 as a free video that we have on thebusinessproject.com. So make sure that you guys, if you're looking for some ways to marketing and you're wanting to continue to run your business and be successful, then make sure you head on over and watch that free video.
Yeah. I struggle with a lot of the businesses that I speak to on a daily basis, and we're creating the budgets, right? And we're creating the strategies on how to be successful, and getting the idea or the message across that marketing is not an expense but an investment in your business is probably one of the toughest messages to get across, because there is a cost associated with it, right? To aside from the free ways, but when you want to like really get into it, there is a little cost associated with it, but it's an investment, and it's one worth continuing on and doubling down in.
Yeah, and I think what's so hard too is that it's an investment, but sometimes it's hard to track because you're doing a couple of different types of marketing, and some of them might not spark a phone call right away, but when somebody sees your logo several times somewhere, here's your advertisement, then that one advertisement is going to spark that conversation. So yes, right. I agree 100%. Ramp up your marketing efforts. Do not slow them down.
Yep.
That needs to be one thing that you keep investing in.
Yes.
So let's go to a quick break, and then we will be back, and we'll see you in a second. The 5 things that you can do to get business for $0. These are some marketing tips just for you.
I need more income.
I need more customers.
I'm just getting started.
I've been in business for a while and I need fresh ideas.
People just don't know about my business.
I don't know what to do.
If you are a business owner on a budget and any of these questions have crossed your mind, we've got 5 things that you can do to bring in more business without spending a penny. Plus, you can hold yourself accountable with a free printout included with the video. It's time to get off the sidelines and take some action. Check out this free video today. All right, we are back. Speaking of 5 things, that's what that commercial was, huh? Okay, so we have talked about a couple of tips. We talked about conduct some cash flow planning.
Yes.
We talked about nurturing your existing customer relationships. We talked about developing new products or services. We talked about ramping up your marketing efforts. And now we're going to go into a couple more things. We're going to talk about focusing on decision making.
There's a lot of analysis paralysis going on right now. Everyone is analyzing what to do, analyzing the market, and are afraid to really take that step and move forward with whatever your decision is. But yeah, this is an important time to really say, hey, let's do this and let's take that step. Let's do it. You just got to do it.
I agree. I think that there's two things when it comes to decision making. I think jumping on and doing things that you don't be scared to do it. Try some new things, but I think also be smarter in what your decision making. I think when
That's good.
times are good and you're bringing in all this money and sales are great, it's really easy to just, yeah, sure, whatever, we'll try that or we'll try that. And so you kind of get used to just making decisions and not really thinking super hard on what decisions you're making. But right now is the time to make smart decisions, really analyze, get some good people in your life that can help you, figure out, is this a good decision or do we need to sit on it for a little bit longer?
Yeah, that's where your partnerships are going to play an important role. Your CPA, your lawyer, your insurance agent, your coach, all of that's going to play an important role right now in your decision-making process.
That's a good tip too. That's not one that we have in our notes, but we're going to add it, is finding somebody to not necessarily hold you accountable, but find a buddy, find a business buddy. Because when times are tough, it is a lot easier to have somebody to just talk with and talk things through with and vent to. I think my very first job out of college was business to business sales in Southern California. I was selling credit card processing. And they would literally just drop me in the middle of an area and I would have to go business to business. And, Southern California people are not as nice as Tennessee people out here. And I would like be in tears by the end of it. And so we started buddying up and doing it together. And it just it was the same people and the same meanness, but it just made it so much easier. And there were no more tears because we could laugh about it when we walked out the door.
Right.
And so I would recommend during this time to take that similar approach and find another business person that you can buddy up with and just talk through these things together and support each other.
Yeah, that's important. Getting with, you mentioned another business owner that someone who's actually going through it as well, because you want to make sure you're speaking to the right person at the same time. Someone who's going through it with you and maybe can provide some insight that you're not looking at as well on how to overcome a situation.
Yeah, don't connect to a negative person. That's not going to do good. True. Yeah, make sure it's somebody that's positive.
Overcomers. Get an overcomer.
Okay, another tip that we have for you guys is to invest in technology.
That's a good one. That's a great way to make your business run more efficiently, automate some processes, take the manual labor out of it so you can focus on growing your business more. I think technology is huge.
We talked about at the beginning cash flow and not necessarily cutting people, but technology is something that can take the place of, maybe some hours that some people are working or some things that you're doing that can be done quicker by adding technology. And so right now is a really good time to say, hey, what are we doing in our processes that we can replace with technology and save some money?
Yeah, and a good way to do that is look for redundancy. Right, redundant stuff. That's stuff that
says the accountant.
Right. Repeatedly, every day you do it a lot, and it's the same process that's done kind of repeatedly that you can probably automate. That will free up time of yourself and your team to focus on sales and growing the business and the awareness process.
Yeah, there's so many awesome technology things, so many things that you can be automating, not animating.
Well, you can animate something.
Yeah, so take this time and really look at what you're doing in your business and figure out how to incorporate technology into that.
Definitely, that's great.
Thinking long term.
Yes.
We got 2 more tips for you guys and we'll be done. Thinking long term is the next one.
Yeah, think past this time as well. It's you got to be present, right? You have to understand what you're working with and what the environment is at hand. But you have to say, how can this benefit the business going forward as well? because you want to be able to make change, but you don't want to, just put something in place temporarily. Let's just say a Band-Aid. You don't want to Band-Aid the situation. You want to cure the situation so that going forward, you can still utilize it.
That's great. I think that is a tip in itself is, when you're thinking long-term, every decision that you make from here on out needs to be not a Band-Aid. That was a great way to put it, but how is this going to benefit your business long-term?
For sure.
And then the last one, and we touched on this one a little bit, is to stay flexible. And I feel like during COVID, I heard this pivot, stay
yes.
flexible like 5 bazillion times. But it's it's very true. The businesses that are able to easily pivot and not be just stuck in the grinding machine and doing what they're doing over and over again, but they can also, look up and look for new opportunities are the ones that are going to make it through.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, look at these restaurants during COVID that, granted you couldn't have people coming in. So you did curbside pickup, right? Or you focused on delivery and curbside pickup, and you created an online ordering system that you didn't have before. A lot of that stuff, that technology that's there that you decided to take advantage of. You weren't stuck in your way of not providing that convenience. So you became flexible. Flexibility is important.
Flexibility is very, very important. And start thinking through that stuff now. It's almost impossible to say if there's going to be another pandemic or what the next big thing is going to be. But, just think about some creative ways that you can get your product or service out there that's different than what other people are doing. That makes it easier for you, an additional way to bring in some revenue. And I want to say also, when we're talking about diversifying your products and services, that doesn't mean to drop what you're doing and add something completely new. Like if you're Chick-fil-A, you're not going to offer burgers, right? Don't drop the chicken and offer the burgers. But think of something, chicken soup. I think they have chicken soup, but I'm just using that as an example, right?
That's good.
Find something that is still within your wheelhouse that you can offer that's not going to add a whole bunch of different things to your plate, or that's not going to get out of your business model.
Yeah. And a good way to do that, diversify, is speak to your clients. Again, communication. Find out what they would like to see that you're currently offering, maybe a little different, that you're not, and then you can add that additional product or service to your offering.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any tips? Put them in the comments.
Yeah, this is it. We wanted to come out here and just share some points to help you navigate this time of uncertainty. Share your information, share your tips as well with us. It's a community effort. Let's make it through this together.
I'm going to go through them one more time. Yeah. Should I say them one more time?
Yeah.
They're not in a row in our notes, so I'm going to try my best. All right. Conduct some cash flow planning. Nurture existing customer relationships. Develop new products or services. Ramp up your marketing efforts. Way down here. Focus on decision making.
Yes.
Invest in technology. Think long term and stay flexible. So that was what, like 8? That was 8 things.
Listen, if you can create your checklist from there and make sure you're putting those steps into place, you'll make it through this.
You will.
We'll make it through together.
We will.
Thank you, guys. Again, like and share. This may help someone else that you know. So like and share. We're trying to touch as many businesses as possible with this information.
You might save a business's life.
Yes. Yeah. That's
by sharing or liking this video. It is that tragic. Like for real.
Yeah.
All right. We love you guys, and we will see you next time. You have a wonderful day.
Have a good one.